Okay, so something huge is happening in the world of software engineering. I mean, a fundamental ground-up shift, and it's all being driven by AI. And this isn't some forecast about the future, you know? This is happening right now. So let's break down what this actually means.
You've seen the meme, right? For years, developers have been joking that AI is always just 6 months away from taking their jobs. Well, what used to be a funny inside joke is starting to feel a little too real. That joke isn't so funny anymore, and the whole vibe in the industry is starting to change fast.
I mean, the signals are just everywhere you look. You've got Cloudflare using AI to rewrite a massive, critical project in a single week. You have CEOs, people who barely code, building clones of billion-dollar apps in their spare time. Meanwhile, you have profitable, growing tech companies laying off thousands of people. And AI tools are now reviewing code and catching these subtle, tricky bugs that a human engineer would almost definitely miss. And again, these aren't predictions. These are things that have happened just in the last few months.
To really get your head around how massive this change is, we've got to look at a specific example. Because this isn't about, small incremental speed improvements. This is about completely rewriting the rules for how you create software. So let me introduce you to Lawn. It's a video review platform, and it was built to be a direct replacement for a big, established product called Frame.io. Now, if you're in the video world, you know Frame.io. It's a major player, a go-to tool for countless professional teams. Okay, just look at this contrast for a second. It's wild. On one side, you have Frame.io. It was acquired by Adobe, took years and a huge team to build this massive, complex product. On the other side, you have Lawn, its competitor, built by one person, working part-time in just 2 weeks. Oh, and here's the kicker. That person didn't write a single line of code themselves. And let's be super clear about the kind of value we're talking about here. Back in 2021, Adobe bought Frame.io for $1.3 billion. That's billion with a B. This wasn't some small app. It was a huge, incredibly successful company.
Now let that sink in. The core functionality of a billion-dollar company was replicated by one person, part-time, in 2 weeks. That's the scale of the disruption we are living through. That kind of speed was it was pure science fiction until basically yesterday.
So how on earth did this happen? Well, the developer's job completely changed. Instead of being the one hunched over a keyboard typing out every line of code, they became more like a director, an architect. They described the structure, they outlined the logic, and then they just watched the AI generate the code. The human became the strategist, and the AI became the builder.
Now, this shift isn't just affecting what one developer can do on a weekend project. It's completely reshaping how entire companies operate. And that brings us to a really puzzling question. Why would a super successful, profitable, and growing company like Jack Dorsey's Block suddenly lay off thousands of its employees?
So first, let's get one thing straight. Block is not some struggling startup. This is a financial tech powerhouse. We're talking about the company behind massive brands like Square and Cash App. These businesses are giants. They're making a ton of money, they're growing, and they're absolutely crushing the competition.
And Jack Dorsey himself came right out and said it. This wasn't a move of desperation. He said, "Our business is strong. Gross profit continues to grow, but something has changed." This was a strategic decision, and it was based on that same fundamental shift in technology we've been talking about.
I mean, the scale of this move is just staggering. They cut the organization by nearly half, laying off over 4,000 people. This wasn't just, trimming the fat. This was a complete restructuring based on a totally new vision for how a company should work.
And what is that new vision? Well, it's built on a pretty simple idea. The old way of doing things, just building these giant, sprawling engineering teams, is now obsolete. Dorsey believes the future belongs to smaller, more agile teams that are basically supercharged by powerful AI tools.
And this right here, this leads us to the absolute heart of this entire shift. The fundamental process of building software, a process that has been stable for decades, has just been turned completely on its head. It's broken.
Think about how we used to build things, the traditional model. Writing the actual code was always the biggest bottleneck, right? It was the most time-consuming, the most expensive, the most specialized part of the whole process. Companies hired armies of engineers just to get through this one step. Everything else was built around feeding this code-writing machine.
The old math was really simple. More engineers equaled more code, which meant more features. But AI has just completely blown up that equation. The cost of generating a line of code has dropped to pretty much zero. For all intents and purposes, it's free. So in this new reality, An AI can take a problem and just spit out the code almost instantly. The bottleneck hasn't disappeared, it's just moved. Now the slow, expensive part is everything that comes after the code is written, reviewing it, testing it, and actually shipping it.
And this creates a really bizarre situation. Because it's so easy to generate code, companies are now drowning in this mountain of unreviewed pull requests. You get this huge logjam. Progress stalls not because we can't write code fast enough, but because we can't validate and ship it fast enough. And here's the craziest part. In this new world, adding more engineers can actually make you slower.
So what in the world does this all mean for the people actually doing the work, for you? Well, the playbook for being a successful developer is changing completely. The skills that were valuable yesterday are not the same skills that are going to be valuable tomorrow.
The shift in what's valuable is it's night and day. It used to be that your value was measured in how many lines of complex code you could write. Not anymore. Now, it's almost all about skills that are deeply, deeply human. It's about being amazing at testing, having real user empathy and product sense, owning the entire release process, and maybe, most important of all, having agency.
So what is this agency thing? Well, it's that uniquely human quality that an AI agent just doesn't have. It's the initiative to take a vague user complaint, like the app feels slow, and turn that into a concrete engineering plan. It's taking ownership to see that plan through from start to finish. It's using the product yourself so much that you feel its flaws in your bones. It's being completely locked in.
And here's the harsh truth. Most developers were just not naturally great at these things. And for a long, long time, it didn't really matter. The industry was so desperate for people who could simply write code that those other skills were just a nice bonus, not a requirement. Well, that's over. Now, those skills are all that matters.
And look, there's just no way to sugarcoat this. The developers who can't make this shift are going to be in a lot of trouble. The source material for this is blunt. It says, if you don't know your users, if you don't understand their problems on a deep personal level, you are at a massive disadvantage.
So I'll leave you with this question to really think about. The game has totally changed. The value isn't just in building the thing anymore, it's in knowing what to build and why. And if an AI agent understands your customers' needs better than you do, what value are you actually providing?